On this edition of Serio Cooks, it's Sunday. We're an Italian family, so it's going to be chicken parm. I start with 2 chicken breasts. I've already split these in half, and I'm going to flatten them out. Now, you can do this with just putting down saran wrap and then putting saran wrap around both sides and pounding it out. I find it a little easier just to put them, and safer, to just put them in a plastic Ziploc bag. The plastic is thicker and there's less likelihood of contamination. So let's go ahead and start pounding out the chicken breast. Chicken breast is in the plastic Ziploc bag, and now we're just going to pound this out gently. You always start from the center and work your way out. And there you go. Now, you don't want to do it with too much force, because you'll go all the way straight through the chicken breast, and you don't want to do that. But I've pounded it just hard enough to tell it who's in charge, and it's roughly doubled in size. It's about 1/4 inch thick right now. All right, so I pounded these all out, and they're ready to go into the flour mix. Now be sure to wash your hands frequently as you do this, as you're touching the raw chicken. That should be an obvious. All right, class, who can tell me why we pat the chicken breast dry with a paper towel before it goes into the flour? 2 reasons. 1, the chicken is more sticky and the flour will stick to it better, which means that 2, you're gonna have a better crust to it. So I've set it up as assembly line here. Henry Ford would be so proud of me. I start with my chicken breast, then it's gonna go in the flour, then the egg mix, then into my breadcrumbs. And I'm gonna tell you my secret for the breadcrumbs in just a minute. And there's my first one done. We'll get to the rest in just a second. 1, I use just plain flour. I don't want to put any salt or pepper, any of that in the flour, because it'll just get washed off in the egg wash. What I do though is I flavor the breadcrumbs. The breadcrumbs have just a pinch of salt, pepper, white pepper, and probably about a 1/2 teaspoon. Here, I'll just show you. A 1/2 teaspoon of oregano in there, and I also put a 1/4 cup of grated Parmesan Reggiano cheese. That'll give this just an extra little bit of flavor without having to put a bunch of salt on it. Now we're gonna do the other 3 right now. Next up, a trip into the frying pan. And in my frying pan, I've got 1 tablespoon of organic olive oil and 1 tablespoon of organic ghee. That's gonna fry this up nicely and give it a little more flavor as well, without burning. I've reset up my assembly line, so there's my chicken, there's the pan of oil that it's gonna go into, and there is a lightly coated with sauce pan ready to go into the oven. First one's in. I don't want to crowd them, so I'm going to do these one at a time. By the way, I missed a step. In between the fry pan and the baking dish, I've got a plate with paper towels on it, because I want to blot dry the oil off the chicken before it goes into the plate. And I just flipped the first one. Perfect, golden brown and delicious, or it will be delicious. I would not advise eating it right now. Trick here is temperature of the oil. If I'm too low, all the coating will come off. If I'm too high, first of all, I'm gonna get splatter burned, and it will it'll just burn. I don't wanna do that. I'm set at 240 degrees on my cooktop here. And by the way, the cooktop is available on our website at foodnationradio.com. There's the flip side on this one. Perfect, absolutely perfect. It's gonna come out of the pan. It's gonna go on the paper towel to dry off the extra oil. My oven now just told me 350 degrees. Let's get moving here. All right, so all 4 of my chicken breasts are now out of the frying pan. I've patted them dry with the paper towel, and I've put them in the baking dish. And I've used a pastry brush to brush sauce right over top, lightly, not a lot. You don't want it swimming in tomato sauce. You just want a nice little coating of it. Next, I'm gonna put a nice handful of organic mozzarella right on top of each one of the 4 chicken breasts. Cheese is on it. We're gonna put another little sprinkle of oregano on, and then into the oven we go. It's in the oven. I'm going to set a timer for 20 minutes. We'll be back. In the meantime, I've got some pasta to make. My pasta's in the water cooking, and I just want to let you know what type I'm using this time. I got this out of the emergency supplies pantry and wanted to give it a try. This is a company called Mantova. It's made by a company called Fratelli out of Italy, and it's organic Italian semolina pasta. Let you know how it comes out. My pasta's cooked, I've drained it, and I've got a trick that I use. Instead of, well, most people will take the pot of boiling water, carry it over to the sink, and then put the colander down in the bottom of the sink, and then pour the pasta that you just cooked down into the colander in the dirty sink. I'm not doing that. That just sounds gross. What I'll do is I'll use the colander, hold it with my left hand, fish out the pasta with one of the, whatever that thing is called it's used to grab pasta. It does it perfectly, and I hold the colander right over top of the boiling water, the hot water, and pull the spaghetti out, and then I can dump the pot real easily. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to dress the pasta with the sauce. All right, there's my pasta, lightly dressed, and since it's Italian family lunch day, I'm serving it in my grandmother's very old dish. It's the same dish that I used to have pasta with or out of when I was a kid. And there's the chicken breast, the chicken parm, already cooked, ready to go. Let's plate this up. There you go, done. That's how easy it was. Grandma would be proud, and so would Elizabeth's mom. So, sometimes this stuff gets to me. Anyway, recipes up on foodnationradio.com. The videos are on YouTube. Be sure to click the subscribe button and click on the little bell, and you'll be the first one to know when we put recipes and videos up. I'm Michael Serio. Thanks for watching. Let's eat.